Hi, my name is Zach. I'm just here at FitMetabolism, and today I'm just going on to the next vlog where I'm going to do a double leg deadlift with dumbbells in both hands. So if you looked at the previous vlog where I always recommend clients learning the deadlift patterning first without weight, and then you can start incorporating some weight with this. That's what I'm going to do today. So today I'm just going to go on to the next view. So basically, when I'm doing my deadlift patterning, I always recommend, even before I do weight, to go through that patterning, the deadlift patterning by itself. So I'm going to set myself up, feet about shoulder width apart, shoulder blades are stabilized, and my core is engaged. I'm just going to do a couple of these reps without weight. So I'll just do this for you. Just to get that hip hinge down properly, making sure that my back is straight throughout the whole range of motion. And I'm pushing through my glutes and then trying to use my lats as much as possible while still engaging my core. So I'm just going to do a couple, and as you can see, the goal is from a side view to make sure that the shoulders are always in line with the knees as I'm doing this. Let's do a couple more here. I'm starting to get into my brain, starting to feel pretty good. Then I'm going to start doing a couple reps with of the deadlifts with weight. Now, as you can see, I've got the weights heightened. It all depends on how tall you are and how flexible you are. Obviously, the lower the dumbbells are to the ground, the harder it's going to be. So for me, I've got it up where, if you look from a side view, I've got it kind of in the middle of my shins. That's kind of where, I always recommend for any clients, whether they're tall or small, so that the weight you're picking up off the ground. If you're picking off the ground, I'm going to show you after what you can do with it, with the weights. But what I'm going to do here is do a couple reps with it. So feet about shoulder width apart. As you can see, where the dumbbell is lined up on my body is important. I always say you want as close to your center of gravity as possible. So as you can see, it's lined with my ankles in the middle of the dumbbell. I'm in a good position here. So from this position, lock the shoulders in. I'm going to get down into my hip hinge, pick these guys up, and lift them off. Keeping that back as straight as I possibly can. I'm just going to touch them and come back up, making sure that I'm trying to activate my shoulder blades so I'm not hunching forward, and I'm trying to push through my glutes as much as possible. So that's the deadlift. Now, if you're doing it from the ground, what I recommend is almost like a hanging deadlift, especially if you're doing with dumbbells. So feet about shoulder width apart, get as low as you can so you can squat a little bit deeper just to make sure you're not arching your lower back. Bend the knees a little more, lift it off. But the patterning when you perform your reps is you're only going to go down just to about halfway between your shins. So I'm going to get in the same position. I'm just going to go down right to about the shin, just under the knees, and then back up. And that's how you can do your reps if you're doing it. Another thing I'm going to tell you is, I always tell all my clients keeping your chest upright. So if I'm doing my deadlift, before my deadlift, and I'm looking down, well then I'm going to lean down and my body's going to sway that way. So what I recommend is, I'll just do it this way. I'm always looking upright as I do perform my deadlifts. And I'll put them on the ground, if I need on the ground. So like I said, there's a lot of things to remember with that, but I always recommend performing the deadlift patterning before adding weight to it. And here I had dumbbells in both hands. I give you a couple scenarios where you can do it if you have a heightened platform or if you do it from the ground. So stay tuned to the next vlog where I'm going to talk about double leg deadlift, but you're only going to have one dumbbell in your hand, which is probably the most difficult one out of the two or out of the three because of how much core engagement is involved. So stay tuned.